Okay, yay! We are back for another episode of Soul Chats. So excited to be here, especially after Eclipse season. As we left our last episode, we were like, can't wait to connect post Eclipse because we know things are going to shift.
Oh
And
yeah.
have they shifted?
The shifts have been had.
Shift is real.
The shift is so real. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got lots to talk about today, but we thought it would make sense to start with eclipse season and kind of just give you an update of what's happened over like through this portal now that we're on the other side.
Yeah. I'm curious because you're a Virgo, so that first eclipse, I feel like would have hit you a little close to home.
Yeah, it's interesting because I had shared with you how like I feel like I don't even remember what
Mm.
happened in that portal because I wonder if it's just I don't want to remember
I was like blocking it
what.
out.
Yeah, since it's, first house, a lot about working through my own shit. And I had also started the Reiki course pre going to Reiki. And I think I shared with you in a voice note where I was just like, literally every day since I started that, and that was in the middle point of the eclipse portal,
Mm.
I cried every single day. Every single day. It was like, and it would be the most random thing. It wasn't a continuation. It was every day was something new would come up to the surface where I'm like, haven't thought about that in a long time. And then I would have
Hmm.
to work through it and release it every
Yep.
single day. So that's why I don't remember it. It's all coming together. It's all coming back to
Yeah.
me now.
Yeah. It's and especially with Reiki and eclipse season, both of those are very highly energetic. And
Hmm.
so Reiki is meant to, because you have to be a clear channel. So what is it going to do? It's going to bring all of that
Like
stuff to
clear
the
you out.
surface. Exactly. And then Eclipse is over here like, hey, let's just add a little bit, let's just add a sprinkle a little bit more for you. So this way you can really feel it.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Yeah. So I think that first one was just all about lots of healing.
Yeah.
Um, I'll talk about the second one after you share because that's a whole I ended up doing on the day of the eclipse, I was being attuned for Reiki. So it was just like lots of
Oh my,
energy.
I love that though. Oh, especially for Aries, like that's all about yourself and choosing yourself and putting yourself first. So,
Feels aligned.
yes. Oh my God.
How about you
Uh,
though? What was the eclipse like for you or the eclipse portal?
so for the first eclipse, I thought I was getting away kind of like scot-free. I'm like, oh, okay, this isn't so bad. Um, I definitely like I was sleeping a lot. I was sleeping so much. Like I was just perpetually exhausted. I would take naps throughout the day. I would wake up late. My body just felt so tired. Um, and the first eclipse kind of like it was a subtle thing. That just kind of like triggered me because I didn't realize it was still something that I was holding on to, which was a very past like toxic relationship and like how that's kind of formed my, as we were speaking before about romance and stuff, like how that's kind of formed my ideas about men and like my relationship to them and it also like I thought I saw him like the weekend before and that kind of like really shook me up because it wasn't a great relationship and like really had to kind of like work through that a bit but yeah, after I kind of sat with that version of me and like did the work, I was like, okay, we're good. The second one kind of rocked me a little bit because that's my, Aries is my moon and my rise. Yeah, my moon and my rising and in my first house. And my Lilith is in Aries. So like,
Damn.
yeah, I was just and like I was supposed to do an event and this person was like flaky and like this isn't the first time that like we've had to move stuff and then I messaged her about it literally the day before because I was like, hey, there's been no promotion, there's been no nothing. And she was like, oh, yeah, no, it's still on. And then didn't promote it, like promoted it right after I said it, which was only a day's notice. And then nobody signed up.
Mm.
And that sent me, like, I got really triggered by that because the shadow aspect wanted to come out and just be like, hey, this is why we don't put ourselves out there. Like, this is not something that you're meant to do. Like, you're not supposed to be doing these things. You're not supposed to have this life that you've been craving. Like, keep on staying small. And I'm just like, I had to go for a walk. I did use all of my tools to kind of get out of it. And, yeah, after a couple of days, I was feeling much better from it. But of course, it was the week of the eclipse, and I was just like, universe, you're doing your thing. So I just trusted it and just allowed myself to kind of just like surrender into that experience. But I think I wasn't supposed to be working with them. And then I had this great idea. I have a rooftop. So I can go and just rent out the rooftop. So when it's nice out, I'm going to host events there.
Holy shit.
And then
I'm
I don't
coming.
have, yeah, I don't have to rely on anybody. And I'm right near like a public transportation. So people in Jersey City can just come right on over. I can just charge whatever I need to, but like I can do my breath work and sound baths right on the roof of my apartment.
Wow.
And I asked a couple of the people that were gonna go, they were like, yeah, we would definitely do that. So that's gonna be in the works once it like stays consistently nice.
Hmm.
So the universe just gave me another way of doing things.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Um, wow. How far are you from Newark, the airport?
literally like 15 minutes.
Perfect.
You're
Okay.
just like, wait, hold on. So I'm just gonna pop on
Perfect.
over.
Just
It's
a
only
hop and
like a
skip.
3 hour flight.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Ah, amazing. Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Um, not to make this about me, but
Every time you post an event, I'm like, but can I make that? Like, even if I just go to Canada for a couple of days, just a couple, that's all I need.
yeah. Oh my gosh, imagine me explaining to customs, especially in the state of things. Oh yeah, I'm just here just for the evening for a sound bath.
That's it. Don't worry. Like, I'm just here for a sound bath
I promise
and
I'll go
like
back to
some
Canada.
healing. Yeah, and then I'm gonna go back. Like, no worries. They'd probably detain you and be like, so what is this healing and what is this event? Are you smuggling something? Like
Are you on
love.
drugs?
I'm smuggling love and healing
Yeah.
back into Canada. That's what I'm
Please
doing.
receive.
Please receive. Here you go. You feel that?
Oh, I love how it led you though to this like perfect option that you didn't think of before. Like it's always working out for us.
It's always working out for us, and I didn't let the story
Hmm.
hold me back. Like I so wanted to, and just like, and the thing is, I allowed myself to grieve for that version of me that felt this way. Like
Hmm.
like validated but didn't affirm their feelings. It's like, no, we are meant to do these things. I don't think that I'm supposed to be working with them in particular. And it's okay.
Hmm.
Like, I tried not to take it. And that's the thing, nothing is personal. And so even when I would explain it to a friend, they're like, you only had a day notice. Like, people can't, like, we're adults here. We can't just go and like switch our schedules. I'm like, I
Yeah.
know. Like, logically, I know. But like, inner me is like, everything is wrong with me. Like, I'm the problem. I'm not enough for this. And so just really working on the tools and like, literally, it was like a day or two and I was good. I was good. And then the eclipse happened and I was like, oh, so good. Love this.
Oh, there's so much there I want to say. So many good gold nuggets of wisdom you just shared. But first I just want to like say I totally relate to you on that front of putting yourself out there, creating something, and then nobody signing up, and then you immediately feeling like, what the fuck? Like, oh, am I not
Mm,
meant for this? Like, am
it's
I not good enough?
precious.
Do they not see it? Like,
Yeah.
am I a phony? Like, it's just so
Especially
many.
you put all that work in.
Hmm. It's
Yeah.
so much for. for our egos especially, but like even just for that
Mm,
part of us that's like I'm being vulnerable and I'm putting myself out there and I'm creating something and that already in itself is so much energy and is so vulnerable and then it's like and it's like not being received the way I want it to be received.
mm,
Um and something that you said there made me think of like and that's complete. Like when anytime that happens, for example, that just happened with our last Soulful dinner. We had 3 sign up and we needed 5 for it to make financial sense, for it to like all be
mm,
covered. And so we ended up canceling it. And I was super bummed out about it. And at the same time, like once I was able to go through all the process, like you were sharing, it felt complete. Like that was the lesson I received in that was enough. And
mm.
like I just feel like sometimes when it doesn't go move forward the way we want it to, it's complete within itself. There's we got what we needed. Like you got what you needed out of that. You got the one, you're now going to use your rooftop.
Yeah.
And two, like that process of that part of you who's feeling like, what the fuck is something wrong with me that you got to like integrate and console, right? And I loved what you said about the grieving piece because that part I found I would skip a lot. I would immediately go
Mm.
to, no, it's fine. I'm just gonna be super positive and like next
Gaslight
time.
yourself. Yep.
And it's like there's gonna keep being a next time if you don't allow
Yeah.
yourself to grieve that and comfort that part because that's real, right? So
Mhm.
I know you're like amazing shadow work coach and you know all the ins and outs of that, but just like I feel like that is such an important piece that I would used to skip over.
I used to too until I was literally a few months ago when even when I would do like my inner work meditations and I would go to like that little version of me and I would do exactly what you did. Like, no, 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 don't feel that way. It's okay. Like everything's fine. And then somebody called me out on it and they were like, you didn't let her feel what she needed to feel. You took that away from her. And so I've been really trying to work on allowing, like I said, validating, but not affirming. So it's okay for you to feel that, even though that's not true.
Yeah, like it's not actually true or aligned with what's actually happening. It's just a story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also liked what you said with the align piece, where you're like, that person just wasn't aligned for the work that you wanted to do. And I feel like that's been a big lesson for me too, of not making somebody wrong or right or bad or good. It's just like, it's just not aligned, and that's okay. And like, that's enough. That's reason enough for you not to do another thing with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I even wrote that in my journal. I was like, I don't want to place blame. I
Hmm.
don't want to place blame because that also keeps me attached as well. Like
Yeah.
sometimes things are just what they are. And it's like you said, it's nobody's fault. So if I sit there and say, oh, well, because she didn't do this and because of that, I would still be holding on to so much anger and just like resentment and all of these like feelings that I don't need to be holding on to. Instead, it was just like, okay, yeah, I was bummed. It triggered me and taking ownership of that. Because that's the
Hmm.
only reason why you're upset too, is the fact that now you're feeling all of these feelings. So it's like, okay. I feel this way. I'm triggered, but it's okay. Like it's just, it is what it is.
Hmm.
And not placing the blame, not pointing the finger, not being like, you did it. Like, no,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
And having a not be aligned reason enough. Like I feel like too, I can like get into like, oh, I have to justify it. It's like just it not being aligned is reason enough. Done.
Yeah. And
That's
you
the
didn't
reason.
even understand. Yeah. And you didn't see it. The universe did, though. So the
Yeah.
universe was just, I was just like, I was so surprised because I kept on thinking the eclipse was on like a different date. And it just kept on like rocking my world. I'm like, what is this eclipse just going to happen? And then it happened literally a couple of days before the eclipse. So I was like, whatever's not supposed to work out, if during eclipse season, is not supposed to work out. Like,
Hmm.
it's just not supposed to. So all right, universe, you know better than me. And then on my walk, I was like, wait, I have a rooftop. Okay.
It was like, can you let go of this? Yes. Okay,
Yeah,
incoming.
there we go. And now my biggest fear already played out. So when you were talking about closing the end, like you're closing up,
Hmm.
that's also a thing that you're closing. You just played out your biggest fear, which was nobody is going to sign up. You did that. You
Hmm.
hit it. So there's only, you can only go up from here.
Yeah, that is honestly, I feel like your biggest fears coming true is so underrated because you're literally like you're untouchable. It's like I already experienced that and look, I'm fine. Actually, I'm better than fine. Now I have an even better idea. A clearer path. So
That's
like it
that's
literally
what
is
it
all
felt
working for
like.
us.
Yeah, it literally felt like almost like a transition of just like almost a test. Like
Hmm.
how are you going to handle this? And then once you realize, oh, okay, we did that, there we go. The fear's gone now. It's like
Yeah.
I've already done that. So if nobody shows up again, okay,
You'll be fine, just
we'll
like you
be
are now.
fine.
More than fine.
More than fine.
Yeah.
We're just gonna go in a different way. And that's okay. Yeah. It
It's
was it
such a
was crazy.
blessing.
It's a blessing. Yeah. So the second one rocked me a little bit more, but like in a good way. Yeah. But I need to hear about this Reiki. Like I'm on the edge of my seat. I saw your little Reiki table story. I'm just like, I want to hear all about it.
Ah, I like don't even know where to start. It literally felt like for that weekend. So it was a Reiki retreat where it's so funny because I didn't realize it was like a sleepover retreat because I was never sent like a pick your room or here's what's included or anything. There was nothing like that. It just was Reiki retreat. And so I thought it was like
Mm,
one you drive to for your sessions.
that makes sense.
And that week I was like, I just would really love a retreat. Like I was looking at Airbnbs and stuff. And then I get a message saying what to pack and that it was like clearly a sleepover. Like it's a full-on retreat. It's amazing. Like, yeah. So that was a funny surprise. Um, so where to start? Okay. The first night we did our first attunement, which was for Reiki level 1. And this house is literally on the lake and it's beautiful. And what they do is they had each of us sit on chairs facing the water. And an attunement can only happen. Do you have your Reiki?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. Can only happen one at a time. So they came behind me and I, oh, sorry, can you hear that?
Yeah. Hear what?
My sister just got home and she's yelling my name. One sec. So guess who that was?
Oh,
The girl who introduced me to going to this Reiki retreat and also was a facilitator or like she helped with the retreat is here. My sister went out for coffee with her and she just came by to say hi. I'm like, are your ears ringing?
oh my
I literally
God.
just started talking about the retreat.
Oh my God.
So sorry.
No, I that was meant to happen.
So wild.
That's so crazy.
Um, anyways. Yeah, that first night, the can you hear them or no?
No.
Okay, good. Um, the first night, we did the attunement for level 1, and I can like see my ancestors on the lawn, and it felt like the biggest homecoming. Like I immediately felt like they were leading me to this moment and this like graduation, this yeah, I just really felt like a homecoming. And it made me really emotional because I just could feel how proud they were and so much love and like everything it took to get me to that moment. And so that was literally the first thing we did. I'm like already a mess.
Day
And on
one.
top of that, I was basically to get to this part, it's called Fort Erie. You know Niagara Falls, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of near there, and there's a bridge you have to take there, and traffic's horrendous to get over there. And it ended up taking me like 40 minutes longer than I thought it would. And on my
Oh,
drive there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be like, I was gonna be right on time, but I wanted to like settle in before. And
mm,
I was like, no, trust that you're gonna be there exactly when you're supposed to. And I arrived at the same time as this other girl who long story short, we end up really connecting. Um, so many weird synchronicities between her and I, and just like, what are the chances that and people thought we were friends. They were like, "Do you want to sit next to your friend the first night for dinner?" I'm like, "My friend?" Because they thought we were already like good friends.
Oh my God.
So it was just like so cool that we arrived at the same time and just kind of the experience we had that weekend. Um, but I'll share the second attunement, which was a little bit more intense. Same kind of format, but this time I saw everyone's ancestors on the front lawn and like everybody was there and it was just like again this like remembering. And we had at the end of the weekend, it's called zapping. Well, that's what they called it, where one person lies on a table and everyone does Reiki on you, like touches you. And so you get all this energy, this love. And I could just, when I opened my eyes, it was just like we had done this for lifetimes together. And it was like, how lucky are we to be able to do this in this lifetime? And it was just a remembering. That's all that was just us remembering and coming back together. And the last thing I'll share, because I feel like I could talk about this for freaking ever, is that
Don't mind my cat.
um, while we were getting our second attunement, one of the facilitators is also a psychic medium. And so she was taking notes while like the attunements were happening, any messages for us. And the message she had for me was that I come from a long line of witches and that like I'm really powerful and it's like time. And so Reiki for me feels very much like an honoring of my ancestry and like a carrying of the torch, like continuing that work. So, and the other thing she said was me and that girl who arrived at the same time. This isn't our first lifetime together, and that like we're besties. We're witchy besties. So,
Oh my God.
which last thing I'll say, I keep saying it's my last thing, but this girl lives around the corner from where I taught the most. The longest teaching stint I had was at the school. She lives around the corner, and I used to live down the street from that school. So, like, we could have met at any
At
point.
any- But see, doors are now being opened when
Hmm.
the time is right.
Yeah.
And I could totally see the witchiness. Like even I think it was our first episode when I told you that you give me like Miss Honey vibes. Like
Yeah.
just seeing you like being like a cottage witch of like working with your herbs, you have your garden, like a
Mm.
little kitchen hedge witch. Like I could see that. That's like the vibe that I could see. And for the fact that you can see all the ancestors, you probably have mediumship in you as well. You have the gift of sight.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like there's definitely something there. Um, Even I did Reiki on my mom today, and my grandmother came in for part of it, and I could feel her, and like I had messages from her to my mom. So I feel like there's something there, but I feel like I just haven't opened it up to, I don't know. There's still some fear there, I think.
What do you think that fear is?
I think the not being able to control it, like that's my fear is will I not be able to control who I connect with? Um, will I be able to protect, like, am I protected? Even when I say this, I'm like, I know I am, but yeah, there's a little bit of me, like, I'll think I'll see something. I'm like, nope, I'm not looking.
Eyes, eyes closed.
Yeah.
Yep. Just, I mean, that's all very valid. It's all very valid of like who you want to connect with. And obviously you don't want to connect with some of like the nastier stuff, but you can always set your intention
Hmm.
and
True.
you can always just set your space. Like even if I feel something in my home that I know that does not belong there, I'm past the point of being fearful. I'm just like, I'm sorry. This place is divinely protected. You need to get the F out. I'm like, please leave. Thank you. Goodbye. You're not welcome. And then they leave. So it's like I love watching those TikTok videos where it's like the beginner witch, she just has like she's like, can you please just go? Like we're protected. And then like it's years down the line, we're like banging pans, we're making all this noise, ringing bells, like get out. Leave my house. Like there's just no fear at all. You're just like, I'm over your shit. Like I need you to just leave my place. But that's your fear is very valid. It is. It is. But you can take your baby steps and work with it. So this way you're comfortable with it. But I so see this for you.
Thank you. I feel like the attunement and like getting that confirmation of things that I've always wondered or things that I've always felt was very validating, and I feel like has opened me up more to leaning into whatever those gifts are.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like this is your time. I feel this whole since I've met you has been a whole year of unraveling and refinding the path and like actually following the breadcrumbs. So I remember last year when I met you, you wanted to find soul family, you wanted more friends in alignment with you, and that was your intention. And now you went to a bachelorette party which was more witchy and that, that collectiveness there. You went to this retreat, found this girl that apparently you have shared many lives with,
Mhm.
and you're gonna go and uncover what's actually the bond between you guys. Like you're finding your soul family. You're doing it.
Yo, yes. Like I have so much to say around that because I feel like I didn't realize how guarded I was. And I was, you know how when you go through that healing where you're just like, you're so in your cocoon and you don't really want to be around anyone? It was kind of
Mhm.
like I had that, but then I stayed in it. Like I was like, that was my excuse not to. And I would be around people and I'd be triggered and I'd be like, see, this is why I can't be around people. It's like, no, that's exactly why you need to get your ass around people. Like,
Oh my
jeez.
God.
And then it's just kind of been the more I did it, the more healing it's been. And each time I hang out with people, it's healing. Like it's, something else comes up for me and it's asking to be healed, especially around like that sisterhood wound, that like, yeah, friendship, female
Mm.
friendships, really healing that. And I found, especially in the past little bit, I have been connecting with people who feel so aligned. Like I just feel so grateful, including at the Reiki retreat. I just shared one of the women, but there's so many women I connected with. Even one who was sent there by a friend who's has cancer, and she asked her to go learn Reiki for her, and yeah, and her friend's sign for her, she said is going to be a dragonfly. Dragonfly. My aunt, whose birthday is next week, or no, this weekend, passed away from cancer, and her sign was a dragonfly, which I have a dragonfly tattoo.
Stop.
It's just like all this interconnectedness um, that I've been experiencing, and that I just, yeah, it feels really just divinely guided.
Mm. I love this. I love this for you. Like I could feel it from here. Like this is your time. This is your time. This is what this year is all about, is putting everybody that's been doing the work on their path with their people. And you've elevated to that frequency. You
Frequency, you
elevate
said the word.
the frequency. Like that little voice note that I sent you where each plane has its own frequency. And in that frequency, it has its own life. So you have your job, you have your friends, your hobbies, your romantic partners, whatever it is. So now you're in this frequency of authenticity, which means that you are gaining everything that is you.
Yeah, which wouldn't have been possible if I didn't break out of the spiritual closet and allowed myself to be authentically me. Like, how could
Yep.
I find spiritual friends and people who are like want to talk about the shit we're talking about right now, like
Yeah,
without being willing to show up and be me and be like, yeah, I'm actually really interested in this kind of stuff.
100%.
Yeah. And how
Yeah.
like the frequency even changes the characters in your life. Like you said, like the different layers. And
Hmm.
even the characters that are meant to stay on that timeline, you'll get a different version of them. Like my dad came downstairs the other day and was like, I'm really actually interested in learning more about astrology. And I'm like, what? And he was talking about, he's like, I've been learning about galactic stuff, so I might be having some weird conversations with you. I'm like, Dad, that's not weird. Welcome.
Like, okay, Dad, pull up a chair. Do we want to start now?
It's like you get a different version even of some people. It's
Oh my God.
wild.
Because you start it like it triggers that frequency inside of them. So they're like, oh, okay, she's one of us. We can talk to her about these things now and not have like because we're always have that fear of being judged or like, whatever it is. So now
Mhm.
they're like, oh, she won't judge us. She'll love this. Okay, let's talk. Let's be weird together. Yeah.
And it's all just a reflection, right? So
It's all just a reflection.
that's wild. Do you have any frequency stories? What even led you to that download?
So I
It's so
was
good.
working with Jess.
Mm.
Our sessions have been just wild. So like this last session I had with her, we tapped into like my feminine and that was a whole trip. So now
Mhm.
that's like on my journey and that opened up the door with me working with Kundalini and like doing all of this stuff and which is I was interested in Kundalini years ago, but it never really stuck. And now all of a sudden, I'm like waking up, I'm doing like Kriyas, activating my Kundalini energy in the morning, so this way I'm more aligned. And that's why I had that revelation this morning of like, wow, the doors really just open up for you when you're ready. Because I wouldn't have been able to really, really utilize this energy in the space that I was at. Like now I can. And now
Mhm.
everything is this whole year is me connecting in with this feminine energy. But so one of our sessions, I forget how it came up, but I was embodying my true essence. And she was like, I feel your frequency raise. And I literally got shown this picture in my head of different planes, like astral, like not astral, astrally, like planes. And it was just like flat surfaces with its own little community in each surface, like on each line. And it's like as you elevate up, there's already a world there and that world is full of all of these things. It's all like your possible partners, your possible friends, like anything that you will interact with in this frequency and what's going to be brought in for you. And, the more that you rise up, the more powerful and aligned these things are. Um, and then I got the download with that is like, that's why you weren't given some of these things because you keep on trying to elevate. Why would I give you something when you're about to shift into a whole new frequency? So, like, a lot of the things that I've
Wow.
been asking for, similar to you, especially recently, I've been really craving deeper connections. Like I feel like I don't want to say a lack, um, but I'm really craving just like deep connection, like not surface level, not superficial, um, like just spiritual girls that I could like go and hang out with and like talk to about all these things. So that's what I've been trying to like call in a little bit more. Um, I lost my train of thought now. What was I talking about?
How about like leveling up? Why would
Leveling.
they give you that if you're going to be leveling up and then you're craving for deeper connections?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So I feel like since this eclipse, like I've just been doing so much work. Um, and like you were talking about with the cocooning, and my friend actually called me out on it because
Mm.
she wants to have these deep conversations. And she's like, you haven't been opening up as much as you used to. And it's because I've been in my cocoon. I've been in my healing cocoon. And I'm just like, no, like I'm here, I'm doing it. Like I'll come out once a month and that, that's it. And that once a month is very like superficial.
Hmm.
It's we're going out, we're having fun, we're shaking ass, and bada bing, bada boom, we're done. Like, and then I go right back into my cocoon, my healing cocoon, and I'm like, okay, so what are we integrating? What are we doing? Like, we're getting back on track instead of just having fun and letting things just kind of like flow. So she's like, I want to have these deep conversations with you again. I'm like,
Aw.
you're right. But I've been shutting it out. So now I need to kind of like branch out a little bit more, and be willing to accept like these new things. And I'm also seeing the mirroring in my clients, like when I've been doing the shadow work. So I see the frequencies. Like I was calling in clients that actually want to come in and do the work. And like the clients that I've been having, they do, and they feel this connection. And it's, you know, I don't really have to, I may have to explain kind of what shadow work is, but they just go right into it. They just go right into it. And I'm just like, yes, like I know it's very intense work, but I get energized after. I'm like, woo, like, let's go. I went to dance class last night after a session, and one of the girls there, she was like, you look really happy. And I'm just like, yeah. And it was because like, I just coached the session, and it's just something that I'm like
Lights you
feeling
up.
so, yeah, and I'm feeling so aligned with.
Mhm.
Um, and I love also seeing the mirroring aspects of the clients that I have. I'm like, oh, I know that. I've been through that. That's something that I work through, that I'm working through. Like
Mhm.
one client was literally went through a similar cycle that I just went through back in January. And I was like, huh?
Wow.
Like almost exact same situation. And I was just like, oh. And then she told me stuff like from her past. And I was like, I did the exact same thing. Interesting. Okay. Um, but it's crazy that the more we level, I know that was just like such a big long turnaround. My ADD really kicked in and I was just going from here to here to here to here.
I'm here
Um,
for it.
but yeah, the frequencies, like just like going into different planes and seeing all of these other options that have been there, but you just didn't know because the door was shut and now it's open.
Mm, so much goodness in that. Yeah, doors. I really, when you were talking about that at first, I like really saw that for both of us. It's like all these doors opening. It's just like I
Yeah.
really feel that. Um, and the cocooning piece too of like, and then being with community. I don't know if this resonates with you as well, but I like had this, like I almost felt like in community, it would set me back. It was like, okay, I'd go out and be with people, and then I'd have to go home and like unpack everything that just happened, and like it didn't feel good. But
Mm,
now I'm realizing that actually being with community is so healing. Like that is the next, I feel like that's the next step. It's like, okay, you've done the work, you've done, for me, it was like I've done everything I can on my own. And now
yeah.
the next level is, okay, can you now like be in community and let them reflect back your own shit for you to heal and like
Mm,
still be okay with yourself, and like catch those stories that you're telling so that they can be released. Like it's almost feels like the next level of healing, but also so supported because you're in the sisterhood of people who get that and are here to give you those new stories, if that makes
yeah.
sense.
100%. Like I've never once craved community, and maybe on like a conscious level of craving community, but I've been craving community like it's nobody's business. And it was something so new. Like I kind of just woke up one day and I'm like looking longingly outside my window, but not actually, but
Yeah.
like in
Yeah.
this metaphor, I will be just like, where are my people? Like, where are my spiritual baddies that, want to go and drink cacao and have like cool little tarot card nights, or like we can collage, we can create stuff, we can go on hikes, we can do whatever it is. And just like my best friend came home from Colorado and I was just like, I miss you because that was that girl for me.
Mhm.
And she was like, you can move out to Colorado. And I was like, it's too white. I can't do that. Like, no, no, no. I need something with a little bit more flavor. But like, I appreciate you. Um, but she was that girl and it just got me like I cried when she left because I'm like, I miss community. I miss feeling at home with people. And just, yeah, like we weren't on our phones. We didn't have a TV going on. We were just sitting and genuinely having a conversation and not being distracted and just, yeah, just vibing out in each other's energy. And it's like, I just want that. I want that so much.
The wild thing is, there are people who want that so badly,
Yeah.
like for like with you. Like it's just like what you're seeking is seeking you. Like I feel like there's so many people right now looking for that. Um, and it's so needed. Like there is something so healing about having a community where, like you said, there's no distraction. It's just vibing in each other's energy and connecting. And it's wild the connections that you can have with people. And I don't know, it's just like these sacred gatherings in a way. It just,
It's a sacred
yeah.
union.
Hmm.
It's a sacred union. It's just two souls just like reconnecting because that's what a soul family is. It's
Hmm.
literally pieces of you coming back into union.
It's
Yeah.
all part of it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And I feel grateful to like still be connected so we can have these chats. Like it's just it's so
Yeah.
nice to I I always consider myself like very independent. I don't really need people, which is such a BS. We need people. We're humans.
People.
Um, And I just feel like having relationships where I don't have to edit myself, where I can say the
Mm.
weird thing, or like I can tell you about seeing my ancestors and it being a remembering and being a witch. And I'm not like, she's gonna think I'm crazy, or she's gonna like be like, oh, cool, and not really care, and her eyes are gonna glaze over, right? Like it just to be fully seen and held by someone is worth a million in whatever currency you want to use.
I know. I wanted to just, as soon as you said that you were a witch, I was like, do you want to go off into the woods, just like put our hands on trees and connect? Like,
Yes, please.
that's all. Like, we can walk barefoot and that's it. Oh,
Hmm.
yeah. That's literally, yeah, it's just, like you said, it's just so healing.
It
It's
is.
so healing.
Oh my gosh. I found at the retreat, the girl I was rooming with, we ended up talking at night, and you can hear almost like everything in this house. So I remember almost being embarrassed the next day when I could hear them downstairs saying, which one of you guys were up late? Because I was like, oh, I'm gonna get in trouble. Like, people are gonna be so annoyed, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, no, that's exactly what this retreat is for. That's awesome. We're like, who's partying? This is like, so that was just like, oh, okay, yay. Like, you get it. And then at this bachelorette weekend, that was kind of like a retreat. There was a group of girls who were sitting like to the side making bracelets, and I was in the kitchen like talking with another group. And I all of a sudden had the story come into my mind of like that's exclusive, and like not them doing that is exclusive. Like I mean, they're exclusive. Like they're you can't sit with them.
You can't
Like
sit with us.
yeah, like I was like the story, and then like minutes later they're like, Kalina, come over, come make a bracelet. And I was just like,
Oh.
you just healed my heart.
Well, because girls can be so catty. Like we grow up in this like, and I don't know how it is for boys, so I can't speak on that, but like girls are very clicky.
They
We
can
just
be.
are. Yeah, they can be. Thank you. They can
You're
be.
welcome.
Um, And it's really I feel like all of us have had that girlfriend wound where it's just like, no, you can't do this, or you can't be a part of this, or we're excluding you, or we're talking about you, or whatever it is. And it creates these like little notions of like apologizing, like we apologize for no reason. We think that we can't join in on things, or we feel awkward to like even ask, like, hey, can I come?
Hmm.
Like, it's just, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I feel like it's such a shared experience. And that's why being in community with aligned women is so freaking healing.
it's empowering to be with just women.
It helps you just like shift all these stories. Like all your shit's gonna come up and then they're gonna like show you the opposite of it. And you're gonna realize that's what you've been looking for and that's possible and that's the new story.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
healing.
it really is. And to realize you're also not in competition.
Yes.
You're not, because I think that sparks a lot of the stuff is like that little twinge of jealousy. So then it's like you're trying to compete with somebody. And then if you're trying to compete with them, you want to exclude them because you want to be better, or you want to show that you're better.
Hmm.
And like it creates all of this cattiness and stuff. So it's like releasing the competitiveness and actually just working together and realizing that we're all amazing. Like we're
Yeah.
all amazing. Be a girl. I love girls. Like I'm such a girl's girl. Like I can be a random person, a random girl that I don't know, and I will hype her up. I will be your number one cheerleader.
I can 1,000% see that for you.
Yes. I do it at I've done it at the gym a couple of times. I'm like, yeah, girl. Like I'll go up to her. I'm like, I know this is really weird, but like you totally killed that set. And like I'll just walk away.
I
That's all that
love
I
it.
need to do. Like I'm such a girl's girl. Like I'm here for it.
And speaking of the like frequency piece, I feel like as we do this work and we heal those stories, we start attracting people who are aligned with kind of this new frequency and not only like heal that part of us, but it's like, I don't know, just like blows your mind of what's possible. Like even just thinking about all the girls, I took a video of all of us like in the kitchen and chatting and doing different things and getting stuff ready. And it was just like, even hearing to what you could hear, it was like people helping each other out and people hyping each other up. And it was all just like this genuine like love bubble.
Yes.
And it's just like, yeah, that's a possibility too. And yeah,
Yeah.
anyways, just lots of healing. That
Lots
sisterhood
of
wound.
oh, and it goes deep because it's also, generational, I feel like. I realized that in my last session with Jess, where we were talking with the feminine, and she brought out like this big book, and it was heavy. And I was like, what is this? And she was just like, memories. And it was like a photo album of like my mom and my grandmother and my grandmother's mom. And like, it was just, but it was ancestral trauma. It was ancestral things that were just passed down. And she was like, I've been carrying this, like this weight. And I was like, girl, that is a book. That is a textbook right
Yeah.
there. That's heavy. And we all like, and it makes sense because especially women, we store so much in our hips, our emotions and everything. And nobody, our generations before weren't taught how to do that, how to release that, how to tap into that. That wasn't a thing. So all of that emotion and stress and trauma is just memories in the womb. And that's where we're created. And it just gets passed down and down and down until somebody, i.e., us, come and break the cycle. And we choose to tackle all of this stuff. I'm
Yeah.
just a girl.
I'm just a girl.
Just a girl.
Oh, and isn't it that like your grandmother carries your like carries you because of the way like with your mom growing in your grandmother, your mom
Mm,
also contains the egg.
mm,
So you're actually were in your grandmother's womb. So there is that like direct connection.
that's wild.
Yeah, it is wild. It's in case you didn't believe in ancestral work.
Here it is.
Yeah, there's something else I wanted to say though when you were talking about that. Oh, just kind of like I know doing this work is can be really shitty at times, but I also just from that Reiki retreat, it reminded me it's such a privilege that we get to be the ones who do this.
Yes.
And like that feeling of holding that weight of the textbook and unloading them
Hmm.
is like such a privilege and such a amazing feeling to be able to take that off of them.
Yeah, because it could have gone a different way.
Hmm.
Like there's so many infinite possibilities of whatever direction we go into. And we decided to, and the people that decide to follow their path and their alignment, they're the ones breaking the generational stuff.
Hmm.
Because that's going against the grain. That's going against what society wants you to do.
Yeah. And it's like similar with you with Jess, I did in one of the journeys I had my dad and his dad and it was like they kept passing it down and it was just like their stuff and it was just being able to say to them, I've got this and it's not your fault. Like this, it's not,
Mm,
you didn't deserve this. Like it wasn't yours to carry. It's not a reflection of your worth or who you are. Like you can let this go and like being able to just see their faces of like, it's not me. It's not my fault. Like it was just like the most innocent thing and to have the privilege of letting them know that and helping them drop it and like, you know, it was really healing.
that's so powerful too, that you were able to do that for them. You were able to facilitate that for them.
Well, and I feel like that's the work we're doing. That was just like a visual that allowed me to actually see it in
Yeah.
like solid form, but like that's the work we're doing. We're unloading our ancestors,
Yeah. We're unloading our stuff and our ancestors.
which in turn allows the next generation to be so much lighter.
Exactly. Exactly. We're doing all the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of work, but it is a privilege after all.
It is a privilege. I wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah.
Really wouldn't.
Ugh. Was there anything else that you wanted to make sure we talked about today?
Um, I mean, I could go off on my little Lilith tangent.
Do it.
Um, I know we discussed this a little bit before. I've been working with Lilith for almost 2 years now, and I have this amazing book that is literally her stories throughout all of history. And um, it's really, and I know it's obviously written as like fictional, but like for me, it feels like there's some truth in there of like they're going through like biblical texts of like how she showed up and like also in other cultures because she was also in Sumerian culture with Inanna and she was in the tree and Inanna is actually Aphrodite but in a different culture. So Inanna and Aphrodite are one and the same. And there are people that work with both Lilith and Aphrodite because Aphrodite is divine feminine and Lilith is dark feminine. And Lilith protects Aphrodite.
Wow.
So, because, Aphrodite is so willing to love and give all of this stuff. And Lilith is that protector of like protecting that love and protecting that sacredness and that, what's the word I'm looking for? Virtue.
It's giving Glenda an alphabet.
Yes, yes. And that's like even in Hindu, and one of the things that I just read, she said that they called her the Durga, and it was a goddess, and it was the goddess of like I think demons, I want to say, or she was the fighter of demons. That's what it was. Um, and they also called her like Shakti. which is Kundalini energy, your Shakti. And I'm just like, my mind is getting blown as I'm reading all of this. And then I also worship somebody else. And I read about him, and it said like his mother was called Naama, and she called herself Naama when she came from Eden. And I'm just like, you're Lilith's son? Like, and I'm just like, all of this is just like blowing my mind while I'm also in just such awe of her, um because she has like just like this view of her that she is just this dark, vengeful woman and creature, and that she's an infernal, and she's this demoness, and while she is all of these things, she is also somebody that is full of love and is just a protector of people that, are getting mistreated and used and abused. And she just wants to go and help people. And it was like in this text, they were saying how she is the one that's supposed to bring you into wholeness again, bring you closer to quote unquote God, which for me, that's consciousness. And so I had this whole like download that I will read because I was literally, when I work on people massage wise, I sometimes go into like a meditation, and like all these downloads happen. And I really just want to ask my client if like they can hold on for a second so I can just quickly write this down so I don't forget. Because most of the time, once the session's done, I'm like, I forgot everything because it's a download, it doesn't stay.
Yeah.
Um, So the download was, it was like, I had a download today about Lilith's story and how darkness is actually here to help us connect more with the light. The darkness is here to stir us up, make us uncomfortable, bringing out fear so we can see everything for what it is. It's meant to bring chaos, so we will do something about it instead of creeping further and further into darkness. If we can stand in the uncomfortable, acknowledging what is there, and choose to change things, and it brings us closer to the light, aka wholeness. Also, people who stay in what's comfortable, also people will stay in what's comfortable to them. Love and light people will be afraid of the shadows because they don't want to face themselves. Shadow people will be afraid of the light because they are afraid to stand in their power. They'd rather keep on working on themselves than be ready.
Oh my gosh, can you read that last part again? Because that feels so relevant to me.
Mm. They are afraid to stand in their power. They would rather keep on working on themselves than be ready.
Way to call me out.
Way to call myself out. I'm like, wait, no, I still have more work to do. And they're just like, girl, you've done enough work. Now let's put it to the test.
Yeah. Damn. Oh my gosh, that's so powerful. Can you send me a picture of that after this call, please?
Yeah, I definitely will. But it
Wow.
was just like this crazy, because we're always taught to fear like this darkness. And really, the darkness is here to bring us closer to the light. It's here to make us more comfortable and face what these things are instead of
Mhm.
just being like letting the fear just let us like kind of recede more into ourselves. And we gaslight ourselves like, no, we're fine. Girl, you're not fine. You're not fine. And it's okay that you're not, but just like acknowledge it, and now let's do something about it. Yeah. But we
Wow.
don't want to because it's harder to change things, like, especially if you're comfortable in situations. Like, you don't know it's the unknown. That's also darkness. Unknown is darkness because there's nothing there.
Hmm.
It's not mapped out for you. You have to put on adventure mode and just figure it out.
Oh my gosh, calling it adventure mode sounds so much more fun. I'm gonna use that from now
Right?
on. Adventure mode on.
Adventure mode on. It's
Whoa.
activated. Yeah.
This is blowing my mind too because I just had a conversation today about how basically a client that I'm coaching, she is in a program to become a like money mindset coach. And so
Mm,
she did a practice session on me this morning. And something that came through was about like charging what you're worth. and I was telling her that I'm like 90% behind it, but then there's like 10% of me that fears that it's going to be egoic, like that my ego is going to take over.
Mhm.
And she had me see that me playing small is my ego taking over. Like me, like the permission slip to be ready and to
Yeah.
like, it's, I thought I was being humble and I'm like, no, it's okay. And it's like, actually, no, that's ego. It's like, I never saw it like that, but it's just allowing me to not move forward. It's allowing me to stay in my like little safety zone.
100%, because that ego is there. So how I was shown in shadow work is like you have your true self, and then you have your ego, and then outside of the ego is the personas.
Mm,
So the ego is here to protect that true self, so that your true self is abundant. It's abundant in nature and just simply being. Now, if
mhm,
you're going to come over here and ask for like $1,000 a session, that's when ego and it's getting inflated of like, oh, I'm this, I'm this big person. But like if you charge what you're actually worth, what like your true self is worth, that's it.
yeah.
You deserve that.
It's just interesting because I didn't see it as it protecting me. Like, in a way, I did see how it was protecting me, but I thought it was protecting me from my ego and not seeing it as, nope, that's still ego.
Yeah.
Still ego at play here.
Still ego. It's just because like, why would you ask for that?
Hmm.
You're going to
Who are
ask
you?
$150 a session? What? Why? You think we're not that good. We're not there yet, but you are. All the work that you've done on yourself and on your business and taking, the steps to kind of move out of teaching and
Hmm.
trusting yourself and having all of that faith in your abilities, that's also worth something.
Yeah. I always thought overvaluing yourself was ego, not undervaluing.
Mm, undervaluing. Yeah, I could see that. I didn't think so either until you said it. And I'm like, oh, I guess that makes sense too, because it's still keeping you small.
Yep. And if you're small, you're safe. You're in the line of safety, in the
Yep.
zone. Yeah.
You can't be touched there.
Hmm. Whoa. Okay, so how does this connect with Lilith as well?
Uh, the shadow.
Hmm.
Well, I always just connect her just because she triggers the shadows. Like in order to work with her or like kind of any infernal or like underworld. So like I work with two infernals and one underworld titaness slash goddess because she's both. Um, they're all here to mirror your shadows. So you work through them and like that's what it's here for because you can't have fear when working with them.
In astrology, is that connected with like the Black Moon and Lilith?
Yep.
Do you know where yours is?
It's right on the cusp of my 12th and first house, but it's in Aries. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yep.
So subconscious self.
Yep. All
Okay.
makes sense.
Damn. I'm just
Yeah.
quickly looking at mine. Mine's in my sixth house, which is ruled by Virgo, but in my chart is ruled by Aquarius.
Interesting.
That's like your everyday routines and
The humanitarianism
yeah, service. Hmm.
service.
Interesting.
Yeah. She's just such a force though. Like obviously she is vengeful, so you have to treat her with the utmost respect. But like her origin, she just wanted to be seen and loved and Adam didn't hurt. That was Adam's first wife. So, and not and like equal wife cuz how it was depicted in the book that I read was they were hermaphroditic. So like they both had masculine and feminine parts. because they were both energies. They could go into an astral body and they can go into a physical body because they're also on one of the levels of heaven because there's seventh, I think there's seven levels of heaven. So Eden was on one of them. And like she wanted to be equal to Adam, and Adam was like, "No, I was made first," when actually Lilith was made first.
Wow.
And she had by Elohim, which is the feminine version of God, she put the fruit from the tree of knowledge in Lilith and created her to be her, to be Lilith in herself. That's why Adam was different. He was just very, if you will, like good and just following by the rules, where with the fruit of knowledge, you receive duality, you understand good and evil, bad, like all of that stuff. And so Lilith was already brought into that. So when Adam kind of rejected her idea of being equals, she had all of this anger inside of her and she didn't know what was going on. And then she fled and then came back and then she found him with Eve. She was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Damn.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh, okay. I see how it is." And like Eve's over here calling her an abomination, and Adam's just like standing by Eve, and Lilith's just like, "Really? Bet." So then she created Samael, who is another demon, because then she extracted her masculine part from her body and created Samael. So they're like masculine and feminine, and then they went over to Eden and like tricked Eve and Adam into having the fruit, but then she felt really bad and like actually protected them and like in the earth world and like stayed with them for some time. Like she has so much love and care, but like she felt abandoned by her mother and father. She felt abandoned by her husband. Most men, Samael tricked her and like tried to betray her and tried to control her. Like, of course she's angry. Of course she's vengeful. Most men in her life have like destroyed her. Yeah.
Uh, wow.
There's
I
the
had no
whole
idea any of this
etymology of
existed.
Lilith.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah.
So much respect for Lilith. Um, and something you said there, how she like created her counterpart, like her masculine counterpart.
Hmm.
It's funny because I wrote that in my journal yesterday, or maybe it was 2 days ago, where it's like I get to create my counterpart.
Ooh.
So what am I creating? What do I want this counterpart to be?
Mm.
We're creators.
We are creators.
If it was just a download I got, it was like, and I'm creating him. So what do you want?
And it's you can tap into your divine masculine too and see what qualities he has in him that you also want.
hmm It's fun to play those games.
It is because essentially your divine masculine is somebody that's going to be mirroring you.
hmm
Oof.
Yeah, that's a fun thing to journal on for sure.
Oh yeah. I love making lists of like not need, but like I want them to do this. I want them to be this way. And like seeing what's presented.
Yeah, I feel like I was sharing this with you just before the call of how on the weekend, with the women I was with, they were all in relationships, and a lot of them were in their 30s and were just starting relationships.
Mhm.
And it gave me a lot of hope. Um, and they shared that one thing that you can do to call in the relationship that they all shared in common was letting the universe know that you're ready. And so I did that. And then as I shared with you, it was like all my shit came to the surface of um, why it's been blocked. It's like it's been at the door, but like you got all this, like how you explain all this shit in front of the door. And
Yeah.
so I feel like that's what I've been doing now is one, like getting clear on what I actually want because
Yeah.
I haven't really thought about it. It's been so vague. And then if I'm ready for that, work through all the stuff that's in the way.
Mm, I love that.
Yeah. Which do you want to share what you said about the doors? Because I feel like that was a really great analogy or like visual.
So the doors, it's like you open up the door and it's like your clutter closet. You have all of the stuff just like piled on top of everything. And as you open it, everything is falling out. So you have to work through that and you have to clean that up in order to get what's there. And what I feel like is there is like another door behind all of that stuff. And it's like the golden door. And you're
Hmm.
like, oh, I opened this. And now, whatever it is that you're asking for, abundance, love, jobs, family, friends, it's there. And the door has always been there.
I was just gonna say that. It's always been there.
Door has always been there, but you just haven't been cleaning out the closet.
Hmm.
So it's like you have to go through all of that stuff in order to go and see the door, to even
Yeah.
touch the handle of it.
I think for a long time I like felt pity on myself of why is there nobody at the door?
Yeah.
Why? And then it's like, okay, I proclaim I'm ready, and now it's like the unconscious becomes conscious. Like, okay, he's already there, he's waiting, but like you gotta just you're
Yeah.
ready, yes, and that means you're also ready to release a lot of this old programming, and that's going to happen too in a relationship, just like we were talking about how like healing in community. Just hearing the women talk about their relationships, I'm like, ooh, that sounds like an amazing personal development course.
Yes. Because
I mean,
also
it
your
sounds,
relationships. Go
yeah,
ahead.
it sounds terrifying, but it
Hmm.
also like, oh my gosh, what better healing course could you sign up for than being in a relationship with your, you know, divine counterpart? You want to heal some shit?
Exactly, because they're gonna sit there and hold you in ways that no other person has held you. They're
Hmm.
not gonna be the one calling you crazy or being too emotional. You guys are still gonna get into arguments. That's a
Hmm.
thing. You're supposed to. That's actually really healthy, but it's not going to be the toxic like you're an asshole and like you're running out the door and you're like declining their phone calls and making it this whole toxic cycle. You're like, no, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about it, and it's going to be uncomfortable maybe for a little bit, but we're going to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that's going to happen and you're going to be able to talk afterwards. Like,
Exactly. You can also say I need space and not have
hmm
it be like, this whole big thing.
hmm yeah. It just really made me realize, like, actually, no, a relationship is, yeah, so helpful. And it's not about being ready for it. I mean, in some sense it is, but it's like ready or not, you're going to be able to go through this and it's going to be so helpful. And it also had me seeing how subconsciously I was so scared of that. And so I would find in my like past dating, I would immediately find something wrong. Like the ick was just a way to protect myself because like it's you, not me. And um yeah. And so we don't need to go any further down this road. So yeah.
Yeah. I Every time, like, it's so funny. I just had this conversation with one of my gym friends. Me and him were talking about dating, and he's just like, sometimes I think I'm ready to date, and then I'm like, no. And I was like, I feel that way so much, but then it kind of goes back to what my journal thing said, where it's like, I want to stay in the shadow because I don't have to stand in anything. It's like, no, wait, no, I still have more work to do. And I know that it just comes from a fear of like, not wanting to continue the cycles that I've been in. And it's like I've been in long-term relationships, but one of them was uh, emotionally abusive and the other one was more friendship. And it's just like, can I have something that's like a mixture of both? Like, but not with the abuse, but like with like the love and the compassion where I felt like it was like an actual relationship than it was to, but I also want something that's also my best friend. Like that's a requirement for me. It's like we need to be best friends because I feel like partners that are best friends, they respect each other in a different way than if you just see them as like your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever it is.
Yeah. And that exists. That exists for you. That exists
That
for me.
exists for me. Exactly. So I'm gonna you inspired me. I'm gonna tell the universe like, hey, I'm ready. But I will say when it comes to the ick, I don't know if it's me. It's so funny. So I actually have a date on Monday. I haven't had a date since I think October.
Look at you. You're
But
already doing it.
but but
You have the ick.
I have the ick.
No. I totally get that. And I'm just like going back to that weekend with all the shared wisdom from the women that were sharing. Two out of the three who shared about who had recently like met people shared that they weren't feeling it at first.
Okay.
And so I really think, and I like opening this conversation up to different people, I realize that so many of us have had really negative experiences with men, and that shouldn't be
Mm,
shocking. Like, I just couldn't believe how many.
yeah.
And I think it's just a way of us protecting ourselves. It's like, and that's why it's helpful to like have more than one date or like to try to stay open, especially on something where it's not going against a value. Like it's not
Yeah.
a, it's like, yeah, that's like icky, but it's not going against a
It's not red
value or
flag.
like, yeah, it's not like,
It's not a red flag at all.
Yeah. And obviously I'm very new stepping my toe into this, but it's just like, I think for me, that's going to be my reminder of like, okay, is it going against a value? And for me to find out, am I just protecting myself? Like, is this actually a thing? Or am I just like, this is just me protecting me?
And that's I resonate with that so much because I always was the person that was like, no, I know who I like and genuinely I do, but I love the toxic people. So my nervous system is just like, no, that's what we're attracted to and we're trying to break out of that.
Mhm.
So of course my nervous system is not going to be like, oh, cool. I like this because we're so used to like the tumultuous energy and like the shifty, chaotic energy, we're like, ooh, that's fun until
Mhm.
we actually go into it. And then we're like, why did we do this again? So it's like reframing what it is. And that's why I'm forcing not, I shouldn't say forcing myself, but that's why I'm letting myself go on this date and not canceling
Yeah.
because I normally would and just be like, oh, I don't like him. It's fine. But like you said, am I protecting myself? Because one, this is also something so new to me. I've also never dated in this energy that I'm in right now. And I'm also
Mhm.
really protective of my time. I'm really protective of my time. And it's like, I don't want it to feel like I wasted my time either.
I just heard it's not a waste because it's going to heal you so much. Dating is going to be so healing.
Yeah.
And it's also, like you said, I relate to that so much of like trusting yourself to pick a person again. It's like
Yeah.
that's a huge fear of mine. I'm like, I don't know if I trust myself. And so
Mm,
and the only way to build that trust is to
do it.
go on dates and like actually put it to the test, right? So, so healing.
So funny. So I was communing with my guides, and actually, Asmodeus, literally his message for me was wants me to go into the trenches, aka situations where I will be triggered so I can emerge from the shadow. And I
AKA
had
the trenches.
aka literally aka dating.
Oh my gosh, that's so perfect.
Yeah. Just like okay, we're gonna differ. That we're gonna do it and it's gonna be good.
And
Or
it
if it's
also makes,
not, then it's
yeah,
okay.
which makes sense why there's so much resistance to even going on this date. Because
Yeah.
there's a part of you that's going to have to come up to the surface and either die or like be healed, integrated, whatever it is. Like there's work that's going to be done. And there's like an obvious resistance there for a reason.
Oh, I know the resistance. I because the first thing I'm like, well, what if I like him? And that
Mm.
fear comes in. And it's just like, then my whole world gets turned upside down. Because I have also been getting hella signs that like somebody's coming in quick and it's going to happen quick. Like we're going to be
Same
moving in
girl.
together. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, what? Like, don't get me wrong. I know I asked for this, but baby steps. And the universe is just like, no, you're going to be like moved in with each other by like the end of the year. And I'm like, Miss Ma'am, my lease is not up until November. I still have time.
Ah, what do you feel like that version of you, who's at the other end of this, would want you to know now?
I just kind of see her laughing. Just like, you don't even know how good it's going to get. And you're over here worried. You're over here worried and resisting. Like, I need you to just let go because it's literally going to be everything that you've
Mm.
ever wanted.
Why does that make me want to cry? I feel that for you so much. And what I heard was just say yes. Just
Just
say
say
yes.
yes. That's what I'm doing it.
You
I'm doing
are.
it.
And I feel
So,
like you brought up such a good point too of oftentimes our fear is like what will happen if it actually works out. And we forget to consider that.
yeah.
Um, and I
I
actually
think
just
that
did,
scares me the most.
yeah, because it means everything changes. It's not one thing. It actually means like this whole ripple effect of changes.
Mhm.
Um, and so yeah, I think you just even being aware of that is step one. And just remembering like it's so funny what you said because I relate to that so much of even though I want that change, like but there's still this like holding on. Um, I feel that so, so much.
Because it does, it changes everything. It's not just one aspect of your life. It's like eventually it's going to be the consolidating of items. You're going to be living together. Is somebody moving? Am I moving? Am I going to have to say goodbye to friends? Am I going to have to do this? Or there's so many, it's the darkness, the unknown, it's the scary thing. So let's just stay and feel like we have to do more work on ourselves in order to be worthy of a relationship because that's so much safer than actually being like, hey, I'm ready, and exclaiming it to the universe and telling them.
I feel like you just summarized my whole life. But yeah, oh my gosh. I also feel like the collective energy is we're at the train station right now. And that train is coming. Regardless if we're ready or not, we get to
Mhm.
decide that we have free will to get on that train, but it's coming. And I just like I got chills. I really feel like we are just on the platform and incoming.
We're going to Hogwarts, baby.
Yeah. And adventure, what did you say? Adventure mode.
Adventure mode.
Adventure mode. We get to decide if we get on the train or not, but it's coming
Mhm.
regardless. So cheers to getting on that freaking
Cheers to
train.
get, I was gonna say we're gonna get on the train. We're gonna do it. I'm a little nervous. A little nervous.
We're doing it. Yay. Well, I'm excited to hear more about this date. Um, should we pull a card?
Yes, we should. I was gonna say, do you want to share any last minute thoughts? Because you asked me, so I want it to be
Thank you for asking. I feel like it feels complete on my end,
okay.
but thank you.
No, of
Um,
course.
I'm happy we got to talk more about dating because I feel like too, being in your 30s, I realized this past weekend how important it is to have other single friends that you can have these conversations with.
All of my friends, I'm literally the last single friend. And like one friend even sent me a thing for speed dating at a bar, and I was like, girl, I am not there yet. I am not there yet. Like, no.
Yeah.
No.
And it's interesting though, because I used to always feel like I wish I, like, why me? Why have I not? And looking back, I feel like if I was in a relationship, I wouldn't have had this time to focus on me and make the choices I have made for myself. I think it would have been a totally different path.
Well, yeah, because then the focus isn't on and I feel like that's also what we need to switch to, where like in relationships, the focus is on we,
Mhm.
but really it should still be focused on I. Because when we thrive, our relationship thrives if it's in alignment
Mhm.
and if the person is also focusing on the I. That
Yep.
doesn't also mean that there is no focus on we, but I feel like if we just focus on we, that creates codependency. And that's
Mhm.
not healthy either. And that creates all of this attachment. And that's where we lose ourselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
So refreshing.
So many rules.
Yes. I just realized I don't have my deck. It's over here.
Okay.
What card did you get?
We got Oshun,
Ooh, 41?
41. 41. Generosity, it says underneath. So it says, there is a universal law that centers on unrestrained generosity and flow. Oshun, the benevolent Yoruban river goddess, the representation of nourishment, healing, fertility, and prosperity, reminds you that life herself has given to you freely. You have been offered air to breathe, water to drink, food to eat, and shelter to sleep in. So it is your task to give freely of yourself, no matter how big or small the act, without expectation of receiving anything in return. The goddess Oshun encourages you to allow gratitude to permeate everything you do right now, even the smallest of opportunities and gestures. The very experience of giving and being generous with your heart, time, money, assistance, kindness, and care will provide more value than you can ever imagine. And when you release all attachment to the outcome, you will be surprised to see how the good fortune you have bestowed on others comes back to you tenfold. Oshun reminds you that this is a truth that has existed since the beginning and will continue until the world's very end. Sometimes you may fall prey to fears about whether you will get what you want, so you worry about money or love and you begin withholding. You might find yourself being overly restrictive and beginning to hoard for the proverbial rainy day. Do you know you cut off generous Oshun's flow of potential when you allow yourself to be convinced there is not enough? The truth is, when you begin to be miserly with your time, miserly, 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 miserly.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. Um, but that with your time and affection and gifts, you will see little return as you begin to notice it. You begin to notice is what isn't there. In this moment, Goddess Ashun wants you to offer you this alignment task. You can't expect the great goddess to be generous with you if you show her that you don't trust in the flow of her generosity. Now is the time to do the opposite of what you fear. When you feel there is not enough money, spend it to signal your trust and abundance. If you feel unloved, ask who you can love and where you can show your care. Even a kind gesture made to a stranger sends a sign that you must trust in the generosity of the world. Don't wait to get what you want. Give it away to others, and you will be amazed at how things turn around. The goddess Oshun has only your best interest at heart.
Okay, we'll go on a date.
Go on a date. Just say yes.
Oh, I like that. Was there anything
Yeah.
coming through for you when you were reading that? Or anything that stood out to you?
So I had this revelation a few weeks ago when it comes to always trying so hard at things that it creates more resistance. And I feel like that was kind of coming up for me. Sorry for the loud car. That
Mhm.
was kind of coming up for me when reading that of just like the more, and it's the same thing with like a scarcity mindset. So like that resistance, that scarcity mindset is not going to serve you at this point. Like there's just so much infinite, like so many things that you can be grateful for and that you do have in your life. And that's why I start each morning with like gratitude, even for the smallest things. Like even today, I was like, thank you for letting me make that light. And, it's the little things. Thank you for letting me find a parking spot, whatever it is. Um, and then you just, you realize how amazing your life is. I don't know. That was just kind of what was coming through.
I love that. I love that energy or that frequency. And I felt like it was also calling me out in a way because when this card finally came out, rather than being grateful that a card came out, I was like, ah,
Mm.
my mom just got this card when I did Reiki this morning.
Mm.
Like, it was just like,
Like I couldn't get a different card.
yeah. It's like, I was shuffling forever. I got a card. Like,
Be
come
grateful, be
on.
happy.
Yes. Like, what a gift.
You wanted a message.
Yeah. And clearly this message is for me too. So, um, yeah, I feel really grateful for that. So thank you for
Mm.
switching that for me. So I got card 10. So completion, but also new beginning.
Ooh. Oh, I
And
love
it
it.
is the Voyager. It says it's okay to forget and then remember all over again. And then it says return home, lessons, and realizations.
Mm.
And then they add another word in the book and it says awakening. I am remembering a lesson of my soul. I am returning home. Sometimes we are afraid of getting lost on our journey, only to realize that often getting lost is part of the journey, part of the great adventure. Adventure mode. I love it. Getting lost and finding our way back home to our soul, to our deepest truths. It is time to remember, not with your mind, but with your heart. Where is love or truth lacking in your life? It's okay to sometimes get distracted and wander for a while. Maybe you forgot or got sidetracked, tempted, or even lost on a different path, desire, person, ego trip, or mission. This is how we learn. By experiencing and getting to know all the things that we are not, we evolve into who we are meant to be, so that we may unlearn and unbecome them. Every time we remember and return home, the awakening of it gets stronger and deeper. The sacred spiral.
Mm.
Repeated lessons get better understood and more powerful each time, like a sacred spiral that moves inward, getting closer and closer to the final center point. We get even more rooted in this home, whether spiritual, emotional, relational, and or psychological, than we were before. If you have pulled this card, it is time to come back to the truth, or maybe you have recently returned. It could be calling to you in the most subtle ways, things not feeling quite aligned, or even just a gentle nudge or whisper pulling you in a different direction. Don't judge yourself. This is an essential part of soul strengthening and development. Let your heart be your compass here.
Mm. So many things in there.
Yeah, I'll just read the manifestation enhancer says, light a candle, grab your journal, put your hand on your heart, and connect with spirit about what your current lesson is, if you already know, or what it could be if you're still not sure. Ask for signs. There are clues you can unravel if you start fluidly writing or looking for patterns. What areas of your life feel misaligned to you? Why? Think back to a point when you felt more aligned and alive. What was it? What were you doing? How were you being? Where was your focus? Let it all out on the page or sit and meditate about it silently with yourself.
Mm.
Hmm.
I feel like that just kind of like encompassed
Mm-hmm.
everything that we literally discussed.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And here I was saying, oh my gosh, I got this card again.
And it was spot on.
So funny. Yeah, wow. Love it.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
And I kind of want to do those journal prompts. Just like, yeah, I feel like we're on this return home, this remembering, this realigning, all the things.
All of the things. That's what this year is about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're doing it.
We are here. We are here.
Is there anything else that you wanted to share or say?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
How about
amazing.
you?
No, feels complete. I feel like that card just said it all. And done.
Yep.
Amazing. Well, for anyone listening and who's made it to the end, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
And to future us who are watching this back, we are so excited to be reunited with you. And we will continue to say yes and honor that.
Mm.
Thank you all so much. And we'll chat back on here in a few weeks.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Episode 3 done.
Episode 3 in the books.
Yeah.
Woo!